Is WWE scrapping Hell in a Cell? We'll get to this heck in a sec. Plus, Booker T responds to homophobic allegations following NXT. And we have an update on WWE's relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Since 2008, WWE have presented the gimmick pay-per-view speed bump known as Hell in a Cell. Regardless of how your feud's doing, you're getting inside the cell, lads. Have fun with that. Not for much longer, as Terror Rising continues to terraform Titan Towers. We're getting a change once again. WrestleVotes, speaking to Give Me Sport, said Hell in a Cell, the show, is completely dead, I think. The match, from what I understand, means a lot to Hunter. Just think of the classics that he has had in there. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso had been feuding for 6 weeks. They got to be there now because the calendar says so, and that's not going to happen anymore. So we will see less Hell in a Cells and no Hell in a Cell premium live events going forward if these sources are to be confirmed.
Yes.
I think with Triple H in charge, I can see this very much being the future. Triple H is very precious about Hell in a Cell, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Like, as a fan of a certain vintage, I'm very precious about Hell in a Cell.
Of course, there's so many like brutal matches that we've had, so many feuds that have ended in a Hell in a Cell in such like a glorious fashion as well. And you want to keep it special. You want to keep that something that makes that match so special. And usually when you think back, there's so many that you can think of in history as well, in wrestling history, that even though you might not have seen it for years and years and years, there's always a match inside a Hell in a Cell that you can go back to and just remember like really fondly.
Yeah, what's one for you that when you're talking about it there with such love and passion, what memory is popping up in your head?
Well, King of the Ring, obviously. I mean, you can't. That was the first one I'd ever seen before.
Mankind getting tossed off by the Undertaker.
Sorry, what?
That's what they said on the.
No,
that's what they tweeted.
I know that, and
I think I wanked off.
And Edge and Undertaker as well. Remember the one with Edge and Undertaker?
Yes.
Oh my god, that one was so good too.
So good.
I really, really enjoyed that one.
I really enjoyed the Armageddon Hell in a Cell, which is the 6-man at Armageddon 2000.
Oh god,
Rikishi,
yeah.
Triple H, the Undertaker, Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, and The Rock.
Yes.
And it gets a weird reception. Not everybody likes it. Some people like it, some people don't. I really enjoy it. I like the bit where Rikishi just gets knocked into like a hay truck.
I love that. That's such a good spot.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, Rikishi. Did I say Rikishi in?
Yeah, you did.
When I was counting down the match.
I'm pretty sure.
I think so. But yeah. So it will mean less Hell in a Cell, but I mean that when we bring the cell down, the boom, 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 when we bring it down, it's the noise it makes. So boom, 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 boom. It's gonna mean something.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we wanted to do. We don't want to just wait until this specific time of year to have one of these things and then rush into it with feuds. As we were saying, we want it to feel special, and I'm very glad that this is happening.
We'll keep an eye on this one as well. I think it just sort of fits it well in sort of WWE's post-Vince era, and Triple H sort of taking gimmick pay-per-views away and putting in the gimmicks when they're needed, basically. NXT flavoured news. So Booker T has been quite vocal about Quincy Elliott. There's a few bits on commentary where he said, like, I don't get it, I don't understand this. He's talked about his relationship with Goldust in the past and said, you know, I want to see this guy go. I'm not really buying, I'm not sold on Quincy Elliott. This has led to a few people online accusing Booker T of homophobia, and he has responded to this on his Hall of Fame podcast by saying, let's get this straight. I'm not homophobic. I have nothing against people making their choice of who they want to love, who they want to sleep with. I don't care. It's not my business. But Quincy might have to give me a reason to like him. I didn't like Goldust in the beginning, but then Goldust turned out to be one of the greatest acts in the history of this business. I don't think I can be homophobic and work with someone like Goldust. Booker then said he'd be up for working with Quincy, saying, but I'm not doing that for the sake of making the LGBTQ community feel better. I'm not doing it for those reasons. I'm doing it because it's a show and that's what we do. So like you said, those things, when I'm out there doing commentary, I'm doing nothing but my job, and that is to entertain people. It's an interesting one because I've at no point did I think that Booker T's comments came across as homophobic. He came across as he didn't buy the act, or by the character, by Quincy Elliott as a performer. I don't necessarily know as a commentator, I think it's your job to sell all the stuff.
Of course, yeah.
And as a part of me would go, well, you could at least work to get that over rather than highlighting it, which I think is why people have called Booker out on this. I mean, I personally don't think the comments that he's made were homophobic at all.
No.
I don't think so.
No. I completely agree.
But I come from a different point of view.
But I didn't think about it in terms of, yes, as a commentator, you do want to get those people over, don't you? Especially, on NXT as well, where there's a lot of green talent, Quincy Elliott being one of them as well. Mm-hmm. And you really want to push the fact that, no, these guys are going to be good. These guys are good. And they will, you want to really, make them feel special, don't you, too? Especially within NXT. So I completely understand that. But yeah, as he was saying with the Goldust stuff too, it took a little while to get Goldust, but then he finally got Goldust, and it could very well be the same thing with Quincy Elliott. I don't think Quincy Elliott's been given enough to do on TV yet. To sort of have people such as Booker T form an opinion. But then again, that is Booker T's job to get him over at the same time.
Interested to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Mm-hmm. Now, over on the AEW side of things, Tony's been getting his wallet out again.
Tony's
getting his wallet out
Getting
again.
his really wallet out again. Well, Fightful Select, Tom, let me tell you the story. The trio of Maria Kanellis, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven, have finished up with Impact Wrestling at the Bound for Glory tapings, and obviously we saw them debut on AEW Rampage from Toronto. And since then, Fightful have been told that all three have signed multi-year contracts with All Elite Wrestling. Now, this is quite interesting. This is an interesting one on this one. Maria Kanellis has joined Awesome Kong and Brandy Rhodes as the only woman to appear for AEW, Ring of Honor, WWE, Impact, and New Japan.
The quadruple
That's
crown.
quite a feat. That's really good. There were rumors that WWE was interested in Matt Taven, but were told that Maria Kanellis and Mike Bennett both also had conversations with WWE. But we haven't heard of any firm offers. Despite speaking openly about being open to helping book in Ring of Honor or the women's division, as of now, Maria is only contracted as a talent. And obviously, last night as well, we found out Matt Taven is going to challenge Wardlow for the AEW TNT title on Rampage as Vel.
I said that Maria Kanellis had won the quadruple crown, but there's 5.
That's not quadruple.
Sextuplet?
Is it a sextuplet?
I was one of them in college. No, it's a 5 crown. I'm cheeky today, aren't I?
You are a cheeky boy.
I'm cheeky, me.
Cheeky boy.
Taven and Wardlow. Interesting match to pop up on Rampage. Thank goodness that we've got a TNT title match, though.
Yeah.
It's Wardlow's monthly defense.
I feel dead bad for him because there was the period where he came out and was like, I've heard what everybody's been saying online. My title thing's running out of steam. And then he gets put in a tag team.
I love that, yeah. You can all shut up. My title reign's brilliant. Anyway, here's my tag team partner, Samoa Joe.
Oh, bless him. Bless him. As I was saying Jesus, calm down. As I was saying in the last video, Tom, I would like to see something with Adam Cole coming back and perhaps the Kingdom being fully formed together once again.
See, you say that. I think that this particular triumvirate is going to be for Ring of Honor.
Well, I think that, yeah.
I feel like when they finally get that Ring of Honor TV deal sorted, you're going to see an exodus of talent from AEW television to go and do that. It's going to free up AEW.
Yeah.
Oh, the breathing room.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
So much room for activities.
I'm just thinking, if they have one final big blow-off pay-per-view before they finally decide, let's split it into its own different
invasion.
Like an invasion thing. Oh. And that's where Adam Cole can come in. And then when the Elite come back, you can have the Kingdom, the Elite, and that could be a thing that can finally, would it really make up for the fact that the Undisputed Elite versus the Elite might not work? But it would be a way, to kind of get around it for Adam Cole to get back embroiled with the Elite again.
It could be.
But who knows? Let's hope that they all split very soon. Yes. We do get Ring of Honor and AEW separately.
Please do. More multi-promotional mayhem to end on. An update on the situation between Karl Anderson, WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the Never Openweight Championship. What's Fightful been saying this morning, Andrew?
So Fightful is told that there's still and always have been active plans for Karl Anderson Anderson to compete in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We haven't heard an update on the title itself, but that New Japan does expect Anderson to fulfill additional dates, which WWE was fine with. Beyond that, we're told that New Japan has been aware that Anderson and Gallows were heading to WWE as far back as August, and that's when the deal was hammered out. Those familiar with the situation say that things are fine between Anderson, New Japan, and WWE. Thomas, what does this perhaps mean?
Well, now I had based on that in terms of what this means, just as Fightful Select were publishing this report, I was on a Zoom call with Rich Grace from Voices of Wrestling about this very subject, and he echoed similar things to what Fightful Select sources have been saying, that New Japan and WWE are fine right now. The New Japan has been in the loop about the OC Wrestling Crown Jewel. In fact, they've actually been in the loop for weeks about it. Like, this is something that they knew a long while back. Now, this may lead to Karl Anderson still forfeiting the Never Openweight Championship. One of the things that I talked about with Rich from Voices of Wrestling is that history of where New Japan, as far as New Japan goes, if you can't defend your title, I don't care if it's a travel issue, I don't care if it's a health issue, I don't care if your legs fall off. If you can't defend the title, you forfeit the title. Bring it in, give it here. So chances are that on November the 5th, we'll see the title forfeited. But that doesn't mean the end. And as you said there from Fightful, extra dates.
Yes.
Rich and I speculated that those extra dates may involve around Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because they don't clash with anything in WWE's calendar. Because Wrestle Kingdom's around like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So he could feasibly do that and then be back in time to do whatever he needs to do for WWE. Everybody's happy, everyone's square, all pals at the palace. Whether this is a long-term deal, it's looking very much like this might just be a very isolated deal, and but who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? We had a lovely chat, and you can listen to it on the podcast feed right now. Me and Rich from Voices of Wrestling talked about this for about 20 minutes, speculated the idea of, what about Minoru Suzuki rocking up in the Rumble as a way of thanks?
Don't you dare tease me with a good time.
That's exactly what I said to Rich. Do not threaten me with a good time.
Don't. That would be tasty, that, wouldn't it? Eh?
Speculation forever, friend. Obviously, you can listen to the whole thing of my chat with Voices of Wrestling on the podcast feed exclusively right now. Massive thank you to Rich Grace from Voices of Wrestling for joining me for that. Anything you want to plug?
No. There might be a list going up at the weekend. I got to get it finished. There's lots of things to edit, Tom. I got to edit the news. I got to edit this list. Look out for it and that.
Go get started on it, and we'll do a sign off, and then you can go and get started on all your editing.
Bye.
Keys, do you want to do a Keys?
Yeah. Love you, bye.
Love you, Keys.
Love you, bye.
You nailed it, mate. You
Love
nailed it.
Bye.
Go now. I'll hold the fort down. I like him.